Welcome to Bizemag Podcast. Me, Dr. Vanita Agarwal, invites you to today's podcast show with our yet another interesting guest, Mary K Saverese, to our podcast show. Uh, we at Love Strategic Advisors invite entrepreneurs, book authors, and startup owners and professionals who are successful in their journey in their own way. Today, Mary is going to discuss her journey as a book writer and inspire many more audiences through this interview. Welcome, Mary, to our show.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
So, I will introduce Mary to my audience through this brief biography. Mary was born and grew up in Brooklyn, New York, going on to earn a business degree in accounting from City University, New York. Soon after, she found herself working in insurance and financing and went on to marry her wonderful husband. They moved to New England. She has spent 13 years as a religious education teacher and has lived and worked in New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. For the past decade, she has served as a Eucharistic minister at her local Catholic church, bringing the Eucharist to community nursing homes. After raising a family in city, her husband and she became Florida residents, though continue to spend time in city where she continue in her ministry. Her debut fictional novel, Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume, is a contemporary spiritual mystery that transcends three genres, sorry, mystery, spirituality, and romance. She loves to write imaginative stories for all ages, and Mary hopes that you will enjoy this story and look out for more to follow. So, today, Mary, I would request you for my audience if you would like to share your journey since childhood, some memories with our audience till you become this bestseller author.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vanita. I would love to share with your audience. As you mentioned, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I did work in the financial and accounting community. And when I married, I moved to New England, the part of the United States where it tends to be quite cold, and enjoyed it very much. And I raised my family. And as the children left the roost, I very much had always put on the back burner my dreams. Now, we're always there. We know as women, we're there for our family, for our community, for our children. And our dreams tend to take a back seat. And finally, when the children started to go on to college, I experienced a very, very difficult time in my life. As a woman, I found myself thinking, what is my purpose in life? And through that, I suffered some anxiety, but I always had something to fall on. I had these beautiful thoughts about writing fantasy stories, mysteries, romances. And as I began to write them, they healed me truly from the inside and out. And I was a writer. And I said to myself, my goal is to become a traditionally published author. Well, Dr. Vanita, it's wonderful to wish for something like that, but it was a journey that took over 10 years for me. I would write a manuscript after another manuscript, deal with the rejections that came in, and boy, did they ever come in one after the other. And finally, after 10 years, I did sign my contract. It was at a big birthday, and I said please, how old am I going to be before this finally happens for me? And he laughed, and I had a contract signs. So my journey began there. And as you know, Dr. Vanita, that's only the beginning. The journeys never end. It's a whole new journey.
That's so inspirational, Mary, because I am also passing through similar phase, and my friends often we wonder what to do when our children are about to leave to colleges. They are, we as moms, we are always around our family, and we are bound to them even if we are working moms. And this is a very emptiness syndrome kind of feeling, which causes anxiety and depression among mothers,
Yes.
because all of a sudden you are free. You have so much of free time, free mind. So it's a very good way. This is very motivational that women should find out to channelize their energy, their thought process, their talents into something worthwhile, into something self enriching. And you have correctly taken that path. Kudos to you. So tell us about your first book.
I would love to. Dr. Vanita, as I said, I am an author that loves to write with quirky titles. So the first title of my book, which is a mystery romance with a spiritual or supernatural twist, is titled Tiger's Love, Bubble Baths, and Obsession Perfume. Who knew? And the inspiration for that title came when I visited a wildlife reserve in Florida, in the United States, in St. Augustine. And at the hour, I stood in front of, literally 4 feet in front of this thin wire cage. And there was a vat of bubbles. It was about 15 feet wide, 5 feet high. And I asked myself, what is that? And within a couple of moments, out walks this Siberian tiger, walks across the plank, looks as though he's taking off a rope, and slips into this vat of bubbles. And this was a gorgeous 600-pound Siberian tiger. And the handler, the wildlife handler, sprayed Obsession Perfume on his tongue. And Dr. Vanita, I stood there with my mouth open. I was in such awe of what was happening in front of me, because this is a jungle creature, and he was acting so much as and loving these bubbles and lapping up the Obsession Perfume like a cocktail. And this reserve was a reserve for, and still is, it's in existence today. It's a reserve, a home for old cats that are left over from circuses, TV shows, even as pets, although the United States did put in a new law that does not allow you to have a tiger as a pet anymore, which makes sense when you see these beautiful creatures up close. And so inspired by this, it became a metaphor for me, because this tiger was tossed aside like an old shoe from a circus, or possibly a movie or a TV show. And this became the inspiration for my protagonist, my main character, because she was tossed aside like an old shoe after 25 years of marriage, and she had to start anew. So that's where the tie-in to Tiger's Love, Bubble Baths, and Obsession Perfume, who knew, comes into a mystery romance with a spiritual twist. And if your audience loves murders, I have one murder after another.
Wow. Your description has taken me live into that resort that you're talking about, and I can visualize the tigress going and the guard spraying the perfume, Obsession Perfume. And I love murder mysteries. You have invoked the feeling that I should go and read this book.
Well,
because
thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Dr. Vanita, that was the 4th manuscript that I had written. The 3 before that, it was one rejection after another. So that became my stepping stone into the publishing world, which you then know, as you say, we begin our business as an author. and it is truly a journey. Now, you would think, oh my goodness, you're finally published. You're this author and you're winning awards. Tigers, by the way, did win 8 awards.
Wow.
Worldwide. And I am so humbled and privileged to share that with your audience. But it's a journey for an author, because once we are published, the journey begins, as you say, to market yourself and to go out there and to promote your work and to reach the audiences, yes, that like mysteries or that love, those genres, and to apply that and to have them say, hey, that sounds wonderful. That sounds like something I would love to read. And there's your next journey. And the job never ends. It's really, for me, and it's a passion. It's a love that I have. So it's 24/7 for me.
Great. Actually, I was about to ask the next question. What should be what should be the inspiration to an author who is thinking about writing books? What should be the points that a book writer about fiction stories should keep in mind while writing the books? Maybe the length of the pages, the theme, the language. How do you say, in third person or in second person? What should be the mode of writing? Some pointers to the book writers.
Yes, absolutely. Best things that I was ever taught in writing was, besides editing, that's a whole other world, but in writing, if you can envision the story within your mind as a movie, that is a big help, because at that point, if you envision it as a movie and you can write it within a story and bring in your plot and your characters. For me, I always love to begin with a quirky title. I begin there. For everybody, things work differently. So this isn't a format that'll work for everybody. But once I begin with a quirky title, I do have an idea. And usually I have an idea for an end, but I'm not writing everything out, so-called, in shorthand or saying this chapter by this chapter. I'm developing my characters. Next, it's very important to develop the characters. And if you're writing in today's world, publishers are possibly looking for something which may become a series or a sequel, which I will get into my next recently published novel when we're ready to move there. But usually you are looking at, and when you speak in the terms of writing a novel, it's usually how many words. So words can be anywhere from 70,000 to 100,000, 120,000 words for an author. And what that means in terms of pages, 260 to 450 pages. And what I can tell you is, if everybody has such busy lives, but if this is a passion in your heart, in your soul, never give up on yourself. As I said, it took me over 10 years to become traditionally published, and that was my goal. But today, one of the things writers have going for them is the marketplace has changed. You have not only self-publishing that has expanded, you have hybrid publishing where you are co-publishing with a publisher. So don't give up on yourself. Stick with your dream. And I can promise you that if it's part of your soul, it will happen for you. It may take a while. I can't promise you overnight, but it will happen.
Great tip, because I'm also thinking of writing a book, but not non-fiction. It's a non-fictional book on business.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mary, tell us about your current book.
Once again, Dr. Vanita, my latest book is, once again, I begin with a quirky title that inspired me. And you can see it behind me. And if you love fantasy, if you love adventure, if you love romance, the girl in the toile wallpaper is for you. Now, the audience will say, what did she just say? Toilet? Toile? What is she saying? Toile is so much a part of our lives as it was. In my home, I had this wallpaper that I would walk by, and toile tells a story. It's very much, I'm going to hold something up here to give you an idea. You see, it's usually two-toned, two beautiful, vibrant colors, and it's life, it's people, it's architectural, it can be historical, it can be anything, but it tells a story. And for me, when I looked at this toile wall covering in my home, I saw love, I saw romance, I saw betrayal. And I put the girl in the toile wallpaper, and then she has to find her way out. But this time, I was able to delve into a fantasy adventure, and I intertwined it with romance. And I'm very humbled that I've received such wonderful reviews. The U.S. Book Review had said it compared it to Doctor Who and A Wrinkle in Time. And the Midwest Review said it reaches all ages. And you, as an author, they say, well, what age? If you love fantasy, if you love adventure, and you love romance, then this is absolutely something that you need to take us away from reality. Because as authors, we love to bring our readers into a world away from our reality. Isn't that true?
Correct. And that's why, fiction is all about. Why do we go to cinemas or movie theaters? To be away from our routine life for some time. And that's why we love fiction novels, because they take us away from our routine, mundane life. And that is an entertainment in itself. Some information, some knowledge, in some way, our fantasies also are realized, and we are relaxed in our minds. That's so very true. So how can, audience find these books to purchase?
Well, my books are on Amazon. They are on Barnes and Noble online. They are in any independent bookstore. You can visit my author website, and I can help lead you to these places. And that is www.MaryKSaverese.com, MaryKSaverese.com. Please visit my website. I have trailers for you to take a look at. You can sign up for the opportunity to win a hardcover of The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, which is an absolutely fabulous cover for The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper. It's softcover, hardcover. The ebook will be coming out soon enough. And I also have excerpts there. I'll bring you into a toile room where you could hear excerpts, read several chapters from the book. But it's all fun, and it's all exciting to share with your audience.
Sure. We will be publishing your website address in the description of the podcast. So dear audience, you can visit Mary's website and have a look at the trailers. And if you want to purchase, you can write or maybe leave your contacts with her so that she can help you reach the appropriate place where you can purchase this book. Thank you so much, Mary, for being us. Any other words that you want to share with our audience?
Yes, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. What I would love to say to you, if you have a passion, and it doesn't have to be just for writing, for anything, in your heart and in your soul, do not give up on yourself. I've been there. I can promise you that if you stick with it and you work on it, that your dream will come true. Don't ever, ever give up on yourself. People will always put you down, but if you have the belief in your heart that this is something you want to do and go for it. Never give up.
Thank you so much. That's such motivational quote from you.